Hey everybody, welcome to the new stream. Gonna be streaming here. Hopefully Yakvo gets in here and Fears gets in here and lots of people get in here. So yep, I'm doing another stream, you guys. And today's topic is Avatar 2, Black Adam, and Clerks 3. Clerks Thrizzle. So yeah, get in here, drop a comment, and drop a comment and we'll get started. But yeah, there's a lot of news. A lot of news, especially with Avatar 2. And keep in mind, guys, this is going to be a spoiler review. I've seen all three of these movies, and I will be commenting on all three of these movies very soon. So drop a comment in the chat if you want to. And here we go. So the first thing that we're going to be tackling is Avatar 2. I've seen it, and man, I have tons to discuss on this topic. Number one, Avatar 2 is probably one of the most eye-catching and visually eye-popping movies of all time. Like, this is going to sweep at the Oscars. I mean, like, James Cameron definitely will get Best Picture for this. He'll get Best Picture, and he'll get Best Direction because the visuals, man, they are so jaw-dropping and eye-popping. It's nuts. It's crazy. You will not find a more beautiful film this year. I don't care who you are or which movie you tell me. It's one of the greatest looking movies of all time. Easy. All right. That being said, now James Cameron did say a while ago that this movie needs to make $2 billion or more to be profitable. Okay, and now recently, in the last day or so, he's come out and said, well, you know what? It doesn't need to be $2 billion to be profitable, but it needs to be one of the top 10. And, the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time is like 1.5 billion is the lowest one, I think. So now what I want to say is, a lot of people were saying, if it doesn't make 2 billion, it's a failure. No. Here's the thing. We'll take one of the most successful movies of all time, Saw 1. Saw 1 was made for 1.5 million, and it made 103 million in the box office. And people are saying, well, Saw is more popular than Avatar. No. Just because Saw was made for 1.5 billion and it made 103 million does not mean it's more successful than Avatar. Like, if you're counting butts in seats, Avatar made way, 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 way more than Saw did. And at the end of the day, Quattro's here. What up, Quattro? But at the end of the day, like, counting butts in seats, Avatar had way more than Saw will ever have. All right. So, I mean, like, if you're going by butts and seats, Avatar and Avatar 2 have the lock. They have the home run and the touchdown. But, lately, James Cameron has grown a conscience, which I do not fault him for. I think growing a conscience is a good thing. And he's recently come out saying he does not want his films to be gun porn. I guess, the visual porn, but gun porn is what he doesn't want his movies to be, which kind of scares me a little bit because there's some people saying, well, does Terminator have any life in it? Yeah, I think it does. I think it has like another good 20 years left in it to it. But I think the only one who can do Terminator properly and correctly is Cameron. I don't think there is another director alive aside from Christopher Nolan who can deliver on visuals and storytelling that the way James Cameron can. And, honestly, I never thought that Tim Miller could fit the bill of James Cameron. Like, Tim Miller was the guy who did Deadpool 1. And besides that movie and Terminator Dark Fate, he really doesn't have any good movies to his credit. Like, Deadpool could have been a fluke, and I think it was a fluke. And that fluke did not pan out for Terminator Dark Fate, and that movie flopped. But again, if James Cameron doesn't want to do guns, I think the Terminator franchise is screwed. You know, because as far as Terminator goes, I think there's tons of life left in that movie, in that franchise. I think they could squeeze out another good 5 more movies, but here's the thing with Terminator is you just can't rehash Terminator 2. That's what Terminator 3 did. That's what Terminator 5 did. That's what Terminator 6 did. All they did was rehash Terminator 2. That's why out of the last 4 movies, a lot of people say, oh, 4 is my favorite because they didn't just rehash Terminator 2. You know, out of the last 4 Terminator movies, Terminator Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate, everybody's like, yep, Salvation. It went in a totally brand new direction, went in a totally different plot. And, that's the thing. But if James Cameron doesn't do Terminator, I think Terminator is dead in the water. And, but back to Avatar 2. And my notes is with Terminator 2, you could have burned the first 15 minutes and it would not have affected the movie. In fact, I watched Avatar 2, and for a solid 15 minutes is voiceover. And I'm thinking to myself, James Cameron, come on now. If you let these people learn this throughout the story, you instead of shoving all this information and this info dump down their throat in like the first 15 minutes, let people naturally, discover this from the story. It's like if I tried to tell you the entire plot to Empire Strikes Back in the first 15 minutes. It's not a good storytelling technique. It's not a good way. You need to let the story evolve and let, things naturally occur so people can get to know your story. Let us get to know it instead of just telling us every single thing about it in the first 15 minutes. I mean, basically what I'm saying is he could have shown a lot of that stuff visually instead of doing it through voiceover. And admittedly, there's a lot of Avatar that does need to be explained. And you need to get that out of the way quickly. But 15 minutes of voiceover is not the way that I would have chose. And that's not the way I would have done it. Because, again, with the mystery, I mean, Avatar is not a mystery, but with a movie like that, you need to feed it to the audience one piece at a time. You can't just shove the whole thing down the throat, And then the last thing I'm going to say about Avatar 2 is that Sigourney Weaver plays a character in this movie. And Sigourney Weaver is 60 or 70. And the character she's playing is 13 or 14. And hearing Sigourney Weaver's voice, a 67-year-old woman's voice coming out of a teenager, that's jarring. That is jarring, and they did not do that well. And it just doesn't sound right, And her character actually, her human character in Avatar 1 actually had a Na'vi character in the next one. And I'm just wondering, why didn't they just use that character, And there's some cameos in the movie that I'm just why did they do that? Why did they put that character in there for 5 minutes and not do anything with them? And, a lot of the plot points in the movie are just superfluous. Again, I think the consensus with Avatar 2 is this. Avatar 2 is a 90-minute movie in a 3-hour movie's body. There are tons of things that are just irrelevant to the plot that don't go anywhere that I'm just why was that in the movie? Sigourney Weaver's character is called Kiri in the movie. And she has a religious vision. And then later on in the movie, they say she has seizures, and that plot point never goes anywhere. Doesn't do anything. The whole religious plot point in the movie was superfluous. There was no reason to have that in there. Like, her having seizures doesn't play in later in the movie. I mean, like a lot of the plot points, I'm just like, why was that there? We don't need a coming of age story. I mean, like, we don't need a religious side story. We don't need 50% of this. 50% of Avatar 2 is irrelevant. Like, really, that 3-hour movie could have been 90 minutes, and that 90 minutes would have been fast-paced, would have been quick, and would have shot by like that. But instead, we have this coming-of-age story with the teenagers and the whole religious thing with Kiri, and then the whales and the talking whales. And I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? I'm like, yeah, it's nice. It looks good. But why are we watching this? I mean, I know he's probably seeding things for the next 3 films of Avatar he said he's going to do. But, I mean, like, a lot of the plot points didn't go anywhere. Okay, so moving on. Moving on to Black Adam. So here we go with Black Adam. Number one, the lead villain is weak. The lead villain is a human, some sort of terrorist, and I had no idea why they picked this person as the villain. The lead villain of Black Adam is some nameless terrorist that I can't think of the name of. He doesn't have a good motivation. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's not a superhuman. And he's boring as hell. I can't even remember his name. That's how boring he was. Like, the character Kiri was boring, and there wasn't anything notable about her, but I could still remember her name. Like, but yeah, the lead villain, boring, not a threat. He is a human, and Black Adam is basically a god. So there you go. And then another problem that I have with Black Adam is this. He's not really a villain. I mean, everybody keeps playing him up as, is he a villain or is he a hero? Is he a villain or is he a hero? He's obviously a hero. All right. Number one, he only kills the bad guys. A lot of the bad guys that he kills were directly about to kill other people. If Black Adam did nothing, those people would be dead. So he only kills the bad guys. And everybody's like, got this question, is he good? Is he bad? And I'm like, he's clearly good. Like, when he wakes up, he's talking to a kid in his bedroom, just like, oh man, I need catchphrases. Oh, dang. And then, like, later on in the movie, the kid tells him, oh, you're supposed to say your catchphrase before you kill the guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, right, I'll do that. But yeah, like, Black Adam is obviously not a bad guy. And that makes the twist at the very end credit sequence dumb. There's no reason Superman would be trying to fight with Black Adam. It is very clearly and obvious that Black Adam is a good guy. It's very clear. And then the last thing I'll say about I got a few more things. One of the things that I want to say about Black Adam is Black Adam is a character from thousands of years ago. But when he comes to our time, is reawakened in our time, sounds like a normal guy. Doesn't sound like somebody from 2,000 years ago. It just sounds like a normal guy. I mean, like, his character voice just sounds like some guy, just like another guy. Like, I mean, you think, somebody from 2,000 years ago, they'd speak a different language. Like, I mean, even people from 500 years ago would be like, thou dost haveth the greatest wagon in all of history. Yes, come, thou brother, and feast thine eyes upon Black Adam. And I understand that he has the wisdom of Solomon, but even, the wisdom of Solomon wouldn't make a person from the 2,000 years ago talk like a normal guy. And the last thing I want to say about Black Adam is I have no idea who any of these characters are. I've heard of Hawkman, And I know Black Adam is an antagonist of Shazam. But as far as Black Adam goes, that's all I really know about Black Adam. And Hawkman is in this. They barely go into his history. Dr. Fate, you know, I barely know anything about him. Atom Smasher, don't know anything about him. Windbreaker, know hardly anything about her. And you've got all these characters in a movie. And, you know, with Justice League, who's Hawkman? Hawkman's the guy with the beak and the wings and stuff. But yeah, and that's exactly what I said, Quattro. Who is Hawkman? You don't really find out. And a lot of, actually, I'm going to say all of the heroes in this movie are B or C list heroes. If you don't read the comics, you're not going to understand who Hawkman is. I don't even know who Dr. Fate is. I don't even know who Atom Smasher is. I don't even know who Windbreaker is. And, you know, like all of these heroes are smushed together in this one movie with Black Adam. And there's not enough movie to cover who these people are, what their motivations are, what their origins are. Like, imagine if you saw Justice League and you had never heard of Superman or the Flash or Green Lantern or any of those characters. Like, imagine they were all C-list characters. You'd be like, who the hell are these people? And it's not even clearly defined what their powers are. You know, like at the end of the movie, I have no idea what exactly are Black Adam's powers. What exactly is Dr. Fate's powers? You know, what are all the things that Windbreaker and Atom Smasher can do? What is their backstory? What is their motivations? Everything is very thinly glossed over. I don't know. I feel like I'm not making any sense here. I feel like I'm talking nonsense. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. But yeah, I really didn't have this review structured out really well, so please forgive me for that. But yeah, Black Adam, it was an okay movie. I got it for free on HBO Max. Didn't really feel the need to revisit it. I might watch it once more for fun, and then, you know, Quattro says he hasn't seen it yet. All right. Well, anyways, so man, I haven't even covered 20 minutes yet. I thought I was gonna do more than that. So now we're gonna move on to the last review on the list, Clerks III. And I'm going to offer this note on Clerks right now. Number one, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith. All right. I think he's a genius. I think he's an awesome writer. He's one of the best writers who's working today. He's written some of the greatest movies of all time. The first three films, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, great films. But unfortunately, he has gone on a steady decline since then. You know, his films have gotten less and less novel. And most of the reasons is he keeps reusing the same jokes over and over and over again. But I'll say that for later in the review. And again, I want to say I think so highly of Kevin Smith. He's a great storyteller. He's a great writer. I think if Tim Burton actually made Superman Lives Today, it would be a great success, especially if you got Nicolas Cage doing a batshit crazy Superman. I think it'd be awesome. But I think maybe that Kevin Smith has told all the jokes in his arsenal. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not even covering the first point on my notes. So, Clerks 3, number one. First point, sad old men. That's what this movie feels like. This movie feels like a movie that was made by sad old men for sad old men. Like, Kevin Smith has recently had a heart attack, and that makes it into the plot. of this movie. But unfortunately, the heart attack has basically turned this movie into the Force Awakens of Clerks. Like, Clerks 3 is basically a rehash of Clerks 1 and Clerks 2. All the jokes that are in Clerks 1 and Clerks 2, their basis, their foundation is in Clerks 3. And, Clerks 3 is just all old jokes. All old jokes, Same observations about Star Wars. Same observation about, being a clerk. And it's just all the same stuff, all the same jokes. I don't get it, Like, and I just put, it's no new jokes. It's just the same jokes in a different package. And it's just not good, And then another thing, this is what I think Kevin Smith is a master at, is observational humor. Like in Clerks 1, when the two guys are in the store and they're talking about, how did Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine get all those people to build the Death Star? That was great the first time. And then when they bring it up again later, it's just like, it's not the same. It's like, yeah, you told us that joke. Yeah, the same joke over and over again. It's not funny. And then there's the whole part of like the 36 things that Veronica sucked. That joke comes up again. And they bring back Veronica. And Veronica does not look good at all, man. She is aged. And damn does it look it. And like when she came in, I started to get really, really sad. And that's the basis of my my summary for Clerks 3. Not only did I not like it, it left a bad taste in my mouth. It made me kind of sadder about life. And it's just like sad old men. And some of the acting is the worst in any Kevin Smith film. Like when Dante is at his wife's grave and he's crying, you're thinking, this guy's hamming it up. This is not good. This is not good acting. Looks like he's overacting. It's very hammy. It's very like B-movie-ish. In fact, the entire movie is very B-movie-ish. And again, you got to give it props because this was made during the coronavirus when everybody was wearing masks and you couldn't go out and do stuff. And it looks it, and again, the thing is like, I hate to crap on Kevin Smith because I think he's a great writer, I really do. My advice to Kevin Smith would be to bring in the new, go back to the original gangster, George Lucas, because, when George Lucas was talking about the sequel trilogy, he talked about the prequel trilogy, and he was like, the sequel trilogy is just a rehash of the first three movies. When I made parts 1, 2, and 3, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, when I made those movies, I made a concerted effort to make them different and visually, stylistically different from all the other movies in the series. Clerks 1, 2, and 3 is basically the same movie with no like visual cues. I mean, admittedly, Clerks 1 was in black and white and Clerks 2 is in color. But George Lucas went out of his way to make the prequels different from all the other movies in the saga, And then again, Force Awakens was just A New Hope repackaged. The The Last Jedi was just a repackaging of Empire Strikes Back. And then, Rise of Skywalker is basically Return of the Jedi. It's even got the same villain for Pete's sake. So if I were Kevin Smith and I wanted to make a Clerks 4, and I really think we need a Clerks 4 to make up for Clerks 3. I really do. We need a new store, new clerks, and new topics of jokes. Like filmmaking jokes, they're good. You done that, give us some new topics, like Twitter or TikTok or, politics or gender politics or stuff like that. Maybe not gender politics, that's done too much, but there's tons of new things, like iPhones and people who are presidents right now. There's just tons of stuff other than filmmaking that you can make observational humor about. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing about X and Y in Star Wars. Get some new topics, get some new jokes. I don't want to hear the same jokes over and over again. When you hear a joke once, it's good. When you hear it twice, it's But when you hear the same joke over and over and over again, it loses its impact. You got to have new jokes and you got to have new topics, And then the last thing on my list, and this goes for all of these movies, on all of these movies, the pendulum must swing, with stuff like The Force Awakens and Clerks III, we're coming to a point in filmmaking history where now every new movie is just the same franchise with women. And, there's nothing bad with that. There's nothing wrong with movies with women. But, taking a franchise and just killing off all the old characters and bringing all the new characters with women, and all the women are badasses and are 90 pounds and can do everything that a man can do. And it's just like, get your own franchise. Leave Star Wars alone. Leave Clerks alone. Lucky Chucky says, hey, Randy, happy holidays. Yes. Same to you, Lucky Chucky. Yeah. But yeah, the pendulum's got to swing. Like they're doing all these movies, ruining franchises. Eventually, the pendulum's got to swing back. And we got to start doing original movies. We got to start doing original characters. I was just listening to the Power of the Brain talks on BBC World CIE. Yeah. It reminded me of what you said, that the mind is powerful. Well, that's good. I don't know, Lucky Chucky. I don't know. I feel like I'm not making any sense today. I don't know. Maybe I got like a brain fog, or I didn't structure out my review good enough. I don't feel smart right now. Maybe I should have taken my nootropics before I did this thing. But what have you been up to, Lucky Chucky? What have you been up to, Quattro? But yeah, it seems like every movie nowadays is just a woke version of movies that came before it. I don't like that. I don't like woke versions of movies, and I really hate where movies are just ticking boxes. They're just ticking diversity boxes is now what they're doing. They're not creating new stuff. Like, we need a new movie. What are we going to do? We're going to do Ghostbusters with women. Oh, no, that's no good. What are we going to do next? We're going to do Star Wars, except the main character is a woman. Okay. Now we're going to do Terminator 6, but the main characters are women. Okay. Now we're going to do this new movie, but the main characters are women. All right. Yeah, I got it. Okay, we're good. But, it just seems like everything nowadays is a reboot with women. And I have no problem with that. Like Ghostbusters Afterlife, 2 of the new Ghostbusters were women and 2 of the Ghostbusters were guys, and everything in that movie made sense. And, the characters weren't awesome at everything from the beginning. Like the girl Ghostbuster, fires her, she trains and she fires her little Ghostbuster blaster, and it, nearly takes out an entire electrical station. But what's a diversity box? Oh, Quattro. I don't think I can go into that without getting bleeped by YouTube. But honestly, I think we all know what a diversity box is. I know you probably are going to say you don't, but I don't think I can tackle diversity boxes without getting in trouble with YouTube. So if you want to hit me up on my Discord, I'll tell you what the diversity boxes are. Actually, I don't even think I want to tell you, but it's really bad. And it just seems like Hollywood is now devoid of ideas. Again, going back to Terminator, the series, does YouTube not like diversity? No, YouTube does not like people who do not like diversity, is what I'll say. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there you go. But yeah, it just seems like Hollywood these days are creatively bankrupt. There's a lot of movies that are just movies with the stuck in the title. Like first we had Batman, now we've got the Batman. First we've got Predator, now we've got the Predator. First we had Wolverine, now we have the Wolverine. And it just seems like Hollywood is going creatively bankrupt these days, and it's a bad thing. And they really need to bring in new ideas. Again, with Clerks 3, you need to bring in new clerks, a new store, new jokes, and new topics. Because the characters are getting old. And I wouldn't even allude to the previous Clerks, is how bad. Is Amy Jo Johnson still good? Yes, Lucky Chucky. Amy Jo Johnson will be good forever. I'm actually writing a movie for Amy Jo Johnson right now. It's called Mr. Sniffles. It's about a 50-year-old pet shop owner whose pet bunnies tell her to kill people. So there we go. I feel like they did Dante bad in Clerks 3. Yes, Pixel Protocol. I agree wholeheartedly. They did Dante really bad. And again, the first point in my can't wait to see her in it. Yeah. And as soon as I'm done with it, I'm going to get her in that. I'm writing this script just for her. So I hope she knows that. And hey, Pixel, what up? So yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, they did do Dante bad in Clerks 3. They turned him into a sad old man. And I just really did not like that. And a lot of the characters in Clerks 3 just come off as sad old men, and they're not even really that old. I think Dante and Randall are only like 50-something. That's not that old. If you're 80 years old, you think 50 is like young as hell. But, like 50 isn't that old, and there's just so many bad scenes in that movie. And maybe Dante lost his family, sad the whole movie, and then dies before they get successful. Exactly. And I just think they should just reboot the entire series. Not reboot it, but again, new clerks, new store, new jokes. And I wouldn't even allude. I wouldn't even have, like Jay and Silent Bob, they had a good run. But it's time to move on. The pendulum has swung. It's time to go back in the direction of all original. We've done all rehashes now. We've done rehashes. Now we need to go back. Now the pendulum needs to swing back to all original stuff, new franchises, new characters, new superstars. Do you think they should reboot King of the Hill? That's the rumor. What up, Dragon? No, I don't think they should reboot King of the Hill. I think that's another show that could just go on. They don't need to reboot it. I just think, just hate what they're doing at the DCEU. Yeah, Dragon, I completely agree. Number one, the stuff that I'm hearing about the DCEU, they are scrapping all projects that sound like fantastic projects. Like, I mean, the stuff that I heard that they were doing is they're going to do the Batman 2. That's still on. But I heard they were going to do Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill. Now James Gunn is saying that's not a no-go. And I heard at one time that they were going to do Michael Keaton's Batman doing Batman Beyond. I heard that was a thing. They're not going to do that anymore. And then I heard they're going to do Batman 3 with Michael Keaton, which is a sequel to Batman 89 and Batman Returns. And they said they were going to bring Michelle Pfeiffer back. And all of these ideas sound like fantastic ideas. And not going through with those ideas, I think, is sacrilegious, you know. I feel like Captain Marvel was the first feminist movie, and he laughed during the opening scenes of Black Panther. Wonder if there's be another Brie Larson movie. You know, even Brie Larson, after all her politics, I don't think that she was the problem with that movie. I think it was the writing was the problem of that movie. Already confirmed that Marvel is getting a sequel. Yeah, and again, I don't think Brie Larson isn't very likable as a person. She assumes the negative of questions and gets upset and throws a fit before she, understands the full realization of the question. And Charisma on Command did a video on that, of a trait that makes people don't like you. But again, I don't think that Brie Larson, she's not a really good person. She said a lot of controversial stuff, and all of her actor friends hate her. But again, I don't think Brie Larson is the problem. I think the script was the problem. Tons of the stuff in Captain Marvel is not from an acting standpoint. I thought her acting was serviceable. Like, she has what it takes to be an actor. But again, there were so many things that were a betrayal of characters. Like, I mean, everybody for a long time has been wondering, how did Nick Fury lose his eyeball? And then in Captain Marvel, he got his eye scratched by a cat. Yeah. That's how this major character, this badass character, badass Samuel L. Jackson, yeah, he got a cat scratch. That's how I lost the eye. Yeah. And, a lot of the quippy one-liners in there were not Brie Larson's fault. She didn't write the movie. Those bad one-liner movies are on the writer. I mean, those bad one-liners are on the writer. That's not Brie Larson's fault. It's the writer's fault. And, there's a scene in there where one of the characters tells Captain Marvel, "Oh, you're witty, you're funny, you're badass." And it's like, none of that has been shown visually in this movie. And again, that was not Brie Larson's fault. That was the writer's fault. Pierre's favorite movie is Captain Marvel. No, it's not. Come on, Dragon. We both know that's not true. Is that his favorite Marvel movie, as well as Ghostbusters 2016 and The Last Jedi? What did she say? Interesting. Yeah. I doubt any of that is true. I think Ghostbusters is a fan of 1980 Ghostbusters. Fears has told me personally the first film is his favorite, and it got less and less as he went through the series. Fears and I both saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, and Fears almost shed a tear when will they make a 2, you think? Yeah, I do. And they've already toyed with recasting her. They have already, I don't know, why don't you Google it, Chucky? Yeah, man. He was bawling. Yeah. But yeah, I think they will make it 2. And if they do here's what I've heard. All right. I have heard that Captain Marvel is not going to get a direct sequel, and Miss Marvel is not going to get a movie, but the title of the next Captain Marvel movie is called The Marvels. So it's going to be a team of Captain Marvels. We're going to have the Brie Larson Captain Marvel. We're going to have the Miss Marvel from the TV show. And then we're going to have another Captain Marvel from an alternate universe who is African American. So I think there will be many, many, many Captain Marvels in the next film. Because I believe, I haven't looked this up in a long time, mostly because I don't care about Captain Marvel. But yeah, I believe the title is for the next Captain Marvel movie is The Marvels. So yeah. Oh man, we're only 40 minutes in. I'm running out of topics. So if y'all have any questions, I just don't feel like I'm on today. I don't feel like I'm making good points. I don't feel like I'm talking fluently. What's up again? What's up, Larry Tate? Good to see you. Yeah, I just don't feel like I'm flowing. I don't feel like I'm talking coherently. I mean, I didn't have anything to drink, but maybe it's because it's so late at night. It is 1 o'clock at night, but all different Spider-Mans. Fears hated Spider-Man No Way Home. No Way Home was okay. Wait, let me see. There's No Way Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, No Way Home. What were the three Spider-Mans? There's Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home. All right. Far From Home was the second one. I really liked No Way Home. Did Fears watch Into the Spider-Verse? I don't know. I didn't see that with him, so I don't know about that one. I thought Into the Spider-Verse was okay. The villain reveal that they had in there was awesome because it totally came out of left field. I thought the main villain of that movie was going to be Kingpin, and then they bring this ancillary character out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh dang, you totally surprised the heck out of me with that. I did not know that this person was that person. I'm not going to tell you who the villain is, but she comes out of left field and surprises the heck out of me. I thought Spider-Man No Way Home was a good movie. Number one, because it reunited all three Spider-Mans, and I thought that was really cool, and it showed respect for the Spider-Mans that came before it, because, this movie could have just said, to hell with Andrew Garfield, to hell with Tobey Maguire. We're the best. We're awesome. We are Spider-Man. Yeah. But they didn't do that. They brought the last two back and they showed them respect. And I really respect that myself, And a lot of these movies that are woke, that's the main issue at stake is respect. Because take Terminator 2016 as an example. All right. With Terminator 2016, I wasn't pissed off at the fact that they killed John Connor. All right. I was not pissed off at that fact. The thing that pissed me off is they killed him off in the first 5 minutes without any explanation. And he's like if the lead character had said, oh, John Connor's gave his life so that he could save mine, I'm going to carry on in the name of John Connor, that would have garnered a totally different reaction than, yeah, I'm just as good as John Connor. I can do whatever the hell he can do in 2 seconds. Yeah, that's crapping on the main character. And again, if you would have set it up where the new character was like, yes, I will live on in the name of John Connor, and I will take up his mantle in his name, and I will help out the planet, and I will take up where he left off. That would have been a completely different movie than just saying, yeah, screw John Connor, kill him off in the first 2 minutes. Who cares? He doesn't matter. We're the best. It's all a matter of respect, And, Ghostbusters 2016, when the first trailers came out for Ghostbusters 2016, they said it said, 4 scientists fought ghosts in the 1980s. Now these 4 other scientists are there to take up their mantle, something to that effect in the commercial. And they admitted, like, the first 4 Ghostbusters were a thing, and we were going to take up where they left off. Had they done that concept, that would have garnered a totally different reaction than, yeah, those 4 Ghostbusters never exist. Screw them. We're the best. We're awesome. Girl power. That would have been a completely different reaction. And again, it's a matter of respect. And I'm going to talk about the Last Jedi in this respect, because this is something I wanted to talk about for a long time, but I never got the chance to. So I'll talk about it here. Again, The Last Jedi. I actually think, and I'm going to get crucified for saying this, I actually think that Rian Johnson actually had 2 good ideas. And those 2 good ideas were to subvert expectations and to have comedy in The Last Jedi. But here's the thing. He did those 2 things, but he crapped on legacy characters. And a lot of the jokes were bad jokes. I think subverting your expectations is actually a good idea. But not if it means crapping on legacy characters, making Luke Skywalker a loser, making him some loser who hangs out on an island. The thing about it is, if they had subverted expectations and made Rey evil, and then have Luke pick up his quest against evil, that would have subverted expectations. It would have not crapped on legacy characters, and it would have gone in a direction totally different, and that would have been good. I think comedy could work in Star Wars. I think it could. I think if you got decent jokes written by a competent writer, comedy, yes, could absolutely work in Star Wars. I 100% think comedy can work on Star Wars. But here's the thing. In The Last Jedi, we got dumb jokes. We got googly-eyed pigeons and Yo Mama jokes. All right? Yo Mama jokes have no place in the Star Wars community. If you're going to put comedy into Star Wars, you need to have it highbrow comedy, comedy based on the situations and observations that people find them in. I think comedy could work in Star Wars. I think subverting your expectations could work in Star Wars. But what The Last Jedi had was crapping on legacy characters and Yo Mama jokes. And that's why The Last Jedi failed. It wasn't because Rian Johnson had bad ideas. It's because Rian Johnson had poor execution. Poor execution is what killed The Last Jedi. No Way is the best Spider-Man movie of all time. One of the few movies I was bawling for Andrew's redemption, talking about Gwen. Gave multiple redemptions for characters. Kind of wonder if we get superior Spider-Man. They had no plan for a story. He does good with Knives Out. Yeah, Knives Out was a good movie. And again, Knives Out was a completely original movie, But again, I'll restate it one more time. I think subverting your expectations can work in a movie. I think comedy can work in a Star Wars movie. You just got to do it right. Everybody loves comedy. I think comedy should be in practically everything. Even if you're writing a drama, even if you're writing a suspense movie, I think even if you're writing an action movie, even if you're writing a superhero movie or a romance movie, there is always room for good comedy. Notice how I emphasize the word good. Your comedy has to be good for it to work, not Yo Mama jokes. Not you might be a redneck if jokes, not your mama so fat jokes. Jokes like that in a Star Wars movie are always going to fall flat on their face. Flat on their face. And again, I think if you subverted expectations without crapping on legacy characters, I mean, like, they should have never killed Han off. They should have never killed Luke off. Those were betraying those characters. Now, like, honestly, Harrison Ford said he wanted to be killed off since Return of the Jedi. In fact, in the initial cut of Return of the Jedi, they killed Han and Lando was alive. But everybody said they didn't like killing Han because the audience likes Han. In fact, I would go so far to say is the audience loves Han. But killing Han in The Force Awakens and then killing Luke in The Last Jedi, dumb, stupid move. Dumb, stupid move. Again, don't crap on legacy characters. Has nothing to do with subverting expectations, has nothing to do with comedy. To be honest, if I was writing the sequel trilogy, Luke would already have been dead, but he became a Force ghost and destroyed Palpatine when he revived off screen. And again, I don't even care about the fact that they brought Palpatine back. J.J. Abrams wrote and directed, Rise of the Jedi with Chris Terrio. But I'm not pissed that they brought Emperor Palpatine back. I'm pissed that they brought Emperor Palpatine back. And basically, the explanation for him coming back was like this. Somehow Palpatine returned. And I believe there's an explanation that deserves to be coming in the next 6 seconds. Emperor Palpatine, he returned somehow. Somehow he returned. Yeah. It's great. I could have written a better explanation than somehow Palpatine returned. Like, if I was writing Rise of Skywalker, I would have said, like when Darth Vader threw Palpatine through the core, Palpatine was able to use his force powers and the power of the core to create a portal, and he shot through the portal into today's time, and that's how Palpatine returned. That 20-second explanation is 5 billion times better than somehow Palpatine returned. We're gonna leave it at that. Somehow. I've died many times before. Yeah. That's great. Yep. Yeah. Somehow he returned. Yep. Rey would have been the chosen one of the dark side. Yeah. That's how I would have gone too. You would have seen flashbacks of the fight of Palpatine and Luke. That'd be cool. Yeah. And again, there's you should rewrite the sequel trilogy. Do you think so? I think people would be down for that. And like Dragon, we are in an era where we are writing movies. Like, honestly, Terminator 6 is like, I don't know if this is going to make sense. Terminator 6 is like the third movie of Terminator. Like, nobody liked Terminator 3. So they're like, screw that movie. We'll make Terminator Genesis. And they're like, Terminator Genesis sucked. Screw that movie. We'll make it Terminator Dark Fate. And I have a funny feeling that, the next movie in the Terminator franchise is going to be like, screw Terminator 3, screw Terminator Genesis, screw the Terminator Dark Fate. Here's the actual third movie of Terminator, And then you've got Ghostbusters, you got Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And then you got Ghostbusters Answer the Call. And then they were like, you know what? Screw Ghostbusters The Answer to the Call. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the third movie. I mean, like, how many fifth and sixth third movies are we going to have? It's like there's this building in Daytona called the Fifth Third Bank. And that's what I feel about, like, these movies that are just totally ignoring the sequels that came before it. I feel like we're going to have tons of movies where it's like the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth attempt at a third movie. You know, again, I don't know if any of this is making sense. I really don't feel like I'm making sense today. I really feel like everything out of my mouth today has been drivel. Uh, I don't know. I just feel off, or I don't feel the jive of something. You know, yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna go for 5 more minutes. I feel off. I don't feel like on my A game today. I feel like I brought my like D or F game today. Anyways, uh, I just don't feel like I'm on the ball. I don't feel like I'm communicating my thoughts concisely. Anyways, Quattro says I think I get it. Okay. Well, anyways. So yeah, let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Quattro, shout out to Dragon, shout out to Lucky Chucky, shout out to Larry Tate, shout out to Pixel Protocol. I think that's it. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. I veered off way off the central topic. But I do want to answer a question. Do I think Avatar 2 is a success? Yes. Do I think Avatar 2 will make its money back? Even at the $2 billion mark, that movie has only been out for like 2 weeks and it's already at 1.2 billion. I think in another 2 weeks, yeah, it's going to make it to 2 billion. I think we're probably going to get Avatar 3, 4, and 5. I think we are. And then Black Adam. Black Adam is obviously a good guy. I do not know why Superman would want to tango with Black Adam. When Black Adam comes back to life, he's like sitting there talking with a kid, and the kid's giving him advice on how to be a superhero. And again, Black Adam talks like he's just a guy who just, was walking around in 2022. It doesn't sound like a man who's from 2,000 years ago. And even with the wisdom of Solomon, I still think Solomon, if he came back, would be like, hey, to hither and thither, what are you doing? And then Clerks 3, I didn't like it. It left a bad taste in my mouth. It actually made me kind of sad and depressed after watching it. And with Clerks 3, I really think if he makes a Clerks 4, it should be new store, new characters, new jokes, new topics, and don't even reference the other movies. Make this a completely new entity unto itself. Because in Clerks 3, this is how starved for jokes Kevin Smith was. In Clerks 3, he introduces another two characters that are essentially Jay and Silent Bob. Like, we got the comedy duo in this movie, and then, we got a carbon copy of the comedy duo in the same movie. And I'm like, get some new stuff. All right. Do something new. This is not cool. Let me come into the call. I don't think I can do that. Quattro is Quentin, by the way. Oh, well, that's fine. Time for a new movie about magicians. Yep. I'm gonna call it a day here. Again, Dragon. I just don't feel on my A game, and I don't feel like I don't feel like I can converse. I just don't feel like on my A game. So I'm gonna end it here. If Quentin is Quattro, he's being very nice. So, and I don't have anything against Quentin. Quentin's an okay guy. I hope he gets through his sickness good. I hope he's doing well. I heard he's sick, and I hope he gets better. So yeah, like I said, I don't think I brought my oh, you're doing great. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing well. I think I'm very all over the place. So I think I'm going to go, and I will talk to you all later. And remember, my name's Randy Brown. I do the card tricks, but you all bring the magic. and I will see you later. And next time I'll, have some energy drinks and take my nootropics, and hopefully it'll make for a better show. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.